The baby doesn't look like me. Hi Reddit. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I don't even know where to start with this, but I feel like if I don't get it out, I'm gonna literally explode. I've been carrying this around for 6 months, and the weight is just crushing me. Alright, buckle up, because this is a long one. My wife Chloe and I were together for 8 years, married for 5. We were that couple, you know? The one everyone said was rock solid. We had our issues like anyone else, but we communicated. We were a team. My best friend Marcus was basically part of that team. He was my best man, the guy that first called, before I called my own brother. The three of us were inseparable. We were a unit. When Chloe got pregnant, it was the happiest day of my life. Seriously. I cried like a baby. I was going to be a dad. I immediately picked up more shifts at the hospital, where I work as a respiratory therapist. The night shifts were brutal, but the pay differential was good, and I wanted Chloe to have everything she needed. I wanted our kid to have the best start possible. While I was working those 12-hour overnights, Marcus was a godsend. He'd check in on Chloe, bring her food if she was too tired to cook, help put together the crib I'd ordered. I remember thinking how lucky I was to have a friend like that. He was already the best uncle our baby could ask for. Our son, Noah, was born 9 months ago. Holding him for the first time, man, there's no feeling like it. It was like my entire world snapped into focus. This tiny, perfect little person was mine, ours. The first few months were a blur of diapers, sleepless nights, and a love so fierce it actually scared me sometimes. The first crack didn't even register as a crack at the time. It was just an observation. Around the 3-month mark, Chloe was holding Noah, and I remember saying, "It's funny, he really doesn't have my eyes, does he? I have these boring, light brown eyes. Chloe has blue eyes. Noah's were this deep, dark, almost black color." Chloe just laughed it off. "Oh, he has your Grandpa Leo's eyes, remember? And baby's eyes can change color for up to a year." It made sense, so I dropped it. But then other things started to pop up. My whole family has poker straight, light brown hair. So does Chloe's. Noah's hair started coming in thick and dark, with these tight little curls. Again, Chloe had an answer. My great-aunt had curly hair. Recessive genes are wild, aren't they? I'm not a geneticist, so who was I to argue? I wanted to believe it. I loved this kid more than life itself. The real turning point came at a family barbecue for my dad's 60th birthday. Noah was about 5 months old. My mom, who isn't exactly known for her subtlety, was holding him and squinting. "You know," she said, loud enough for half the patio to hear, "I just can't see any of you in him, Leo. He's got a much darker complexion, doesn't he?" The air went still. I saw Chloe stiffen. I felt this hot flush of embarrassment and anger. I snapped back something like, "Mom, he's a baby. He looks like a baby." But the seed was planted. It was a nasty, invasive weed, and it started to grow in the back of my mind. That night I couldn't sleep. I crept into the nursery and just stared at Noah sleeping in his crib. I pulled out my phone and looked at my own baby pictures. Then I looked at pictures of Chloe as a baby. Then I looked back at Noah. My mom was right. It wasn't just one thing. It was everything. The shape of his nose, the olive tone of his skin, the curve of his ears. There was nothing of me in him. Nothing. I felt a cold, dread pool in my stomach. For the next month, I became an obsessive detective in my own home. I'd find excuses to bring up family traits. I'd casually ask Chloe about her great-aunt with the curly hair. Her answers were always vague. The worst part was Marcus. He'd come over, scoop Noah up, and Noah would just melt into him. They looked so natural together. One afternoon, Marcus was holding him, and the sun caught them just right. I saw it. The exact same dark, curly hair. The same deep-set, dark brown eyes. The same line of their jaw. My world tilted on its axis. It couldn't be. Not Marcus. He was my brother. He was there for me, for us. But the thought was there now, and I couldn't unthink it. I ordered a DNA test online. A discreet, at-home paternity kit. It felt like the shadiest, most disgusting thing I had ever done. When it arrived, I hid it at the bottom of my gym bag. I waited for a day when Chloe was out with her friends for a few hours. My hands were shaking so badly. I could barely get the swabs open. I gently rubbed the inside of Noah's cheek while he slept, my heart pounding with guilt. Then I did my own. I mailed the package back from a post office in the next town over. The 2-week wait was the worst period of my entire life. I was a ghost. I went to work, I came home, I kissed my wife, I played with the baby I wasn't sure was mine. I felt like I was living in a nightmare. Every time Marcus came over and joked about being the fun uncle, I wanted to throw up. I saw him and Chloe exchange glances that I used to think were just friendly familiarity. Now, they looked like shared secrets. The email came on a Tuesday morning. I was at work, on my break. The subject line was, "Your paternity test results are ready." I locked myself in a bathroom stall, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I clicked the link, entered my password, and opened the PDF. I stared at the words for a full minute, not comprehending. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0, not 0.1%, not unlikely, 0. The number just burned into my screen. I felt the floor drop out from under me. I sat on that toilet lid and just broke. I didn't make a sound. I just let the tears stream down my face. This silent, agonizing sob for the life I thought I had. The son I thought I had. I drove home in a daze. I don't even remember the trip. Chloe was in the kitchen, bouncing a happy, gurgling no on her hip. As if on cue, the doorbell rang. It was Marcus, dropping off a lasagna he'd made because he knew I'd be tired after a long shift. The perfect friend. "Hey man, you look like death," he said with a laugh. I didn't say anything. I walked over to my laptop, pulled up the results, and turned the screen toward them. Chloe's smile vanished. Her face went white. She looked from the screen to me, her eyes wide with panic. "Leo, what is this? This is crazy. It has to be a mistake." Marcus just stared at the screen, frozen. "A mistake?" I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. "Is it a mistake, Chloe, or have you been lying to me this whole time?" She started crying, saying the lab must have messed up, that I was being insane. But there was no conviction in her voice. And then I looked at Marcus. He wouldn't meet my eyes. He was just staring at the floor, his face pale. And in that moment, I knew. It was like every suspicious glance, every weirdly timed visit, every supportive gesture clicked into place. I turned to him. "It's you, isn't it?" He finally looked up, his eyes full of a pathetic mix of fear and shame. He couldn't even speak. He just gave this tiny, almost imperceptible nod. Chloe just collapsed into sobs. "I'm so sorry, Leo. I never meant to. It just happened. You were working so much, and I was so lonely. He was here, and—" I didn't hear the rest. All I heard was the ringing in my ears. The two people I trusted most in the world, my wife and my best friend, in my bed, while I was working to build a life for us. For our son, who wasn't even my son. That was 6 months ago. I moved out that day. We're in the middle of a divorce. I haven't spoken a single word to Marcus since. I see him sometimes. In Chloe's posts on social media. They're a family now. Him, her, and Noah. He's living the life I thought was mine. I don't know what to do about Noah. I miss him. I miss the baby I thought was mine. I see his face in my mind, and I feel this wave of love, immediately followed by the most gut-wrenching betrayal. He's an innocent kid in all this. He didn't ask for this. But when I look at him, all I see is her lies and my best friend's face. I'm in therapy now, trying to piece myself back together. I learned that you can think you know someone, you can build an entire life with them, and realize you never knew them at all. I learned that trust, once it's obliterated like that, feels impossible to ever give again. What would I do differently? Maybe I wouldn't have worked so many night shifts. Maybe I would have been more present. But does that justify what they did? I don't think so. So yeah, that's my story. I'm a 34-year-old man who lost his wife, his best friend, and his son in a single afternoon. And I have no idea how to move on from here.